Welcome to Pump Paradise. I'm Olivia Holaus.
I'm Portia Smith-John.
And I'm Christiana Lilly, and we are the Pom Queens. All right, so I'm just going to jump right into everything because we don't got time. There is just too much to cover. So as we talked about last episode, I keep wanting to say issue and episode, but last episode, we talked about the February issue, and the cover of this February issue, as all our February issues are, is for the Festival of the Arts, which is going to be just around the corner.
Yeah.
And Olivia, didn't you have some involvement in the past with the Festival of the Arts?
I still am involved.
Okay, you are. Sorry.
I've been on the board for, so many years. I'm surprised that they still have me on the board, but it's so great. And yeah, it's so cool to see what they have on the program each year. And it's always super fascinating. Even the speakers, like usually, quite honestly, I don't know who the speakers are.
I know. I'm like, am I not smart enough to be?
That's how I feel. Because everybody's like geeking out and I'm just like, I'm trying to Google and figure this out. But I always go in with a very blank slate and I always leave so inspired and more informed. And I just think it's always such a really diverse lineup. So super exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the contemporary ballet that they have in there. They have a ton of really big dancers. Like I know one of them from Alvin Ailey is going to be there. And then this year they're also going with a centennial theme, which is fun. With Back to the Future. Do you want to tell us a little bit, some teasers?
Well, that's, the movie to live music is such a cool experience.
Right.
And so they always have these great big movies each year. They're different. Back
so to clarify,
the Future,
you're going to be watching the movie and then there's a live orchestra there playing along.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's just so amazing. And, the score is really great. So it's a cool way of seeing a classic movie. So I always bring my kids each year.
Does it enhance the movie? Like the live element?
Yeah, absolutely. Element? I mean, it's a different way to watch the movie because most people have seen Back to the Future. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a really cool, different way of experiencing it. So, yeah. Neat. And then they're going to do some fun activities before the movie. So for the kids, the family, adults, it's a whole night out.
And something that I thought was fun was this year, again, because of the centennial, they're going to be bringing DeLoreans along with the showing of the movie. There's like a DeLorean club or something locally that brings
You know what? I forgot. I did hear they were doing that. I did forget that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Where does one even Craigslist? Like, where do you find DeLorean?
I don't do you need to find parts?
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, not the one from the movie though, right?
No, I think it's people that actually build DeLoreans from scratch, and there's clubs in it. I mean, I'm not even into cars in general, let alone time traveling.
A DeLorean face group for
I'm sure there is. There's something for there's a group for everything.
I've got to look. I'm going to Google this immediately.
You need to infiltrate the DeLorean club. Watch, Portia's going to be there and be like, I completely converted. I'm in the DeLorean club.
I just need to know more about this.
But I feel like Cybertrucks are the modern day version of a DeLorean. If the movie was made today, it would be a Cybertruck.
Can we talk about this Cybertruck?
Yeah.
My kids get obsessed when they see one on the road. I think they're honestly the ugliest thing.
They look like somebody made it in an Etch-a-Sketch. It just looks so simple.
My friend says it looks like a dumpster.
Oh,
they do.
I do see that.
Yeah, Reagan, I am putting you on the spot. But when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true.
Well, I think because my nephew and niece are also, they say my niece says she wants a purple Cybertruck. And I'm like, okay, save up now, I guess. But I think kids like it because it literally looks like a kid's drawing of a car and then they made it. It's very angular.
I wouldn't want that. That's not what I'm going for. No. I'm looking for sleek, luxury, or
it is sleek. It's very
no, but it's boxy. It's I don't know. I don't like it. Also, I heard it takes a lot of time to charge. So that defeats the purpose too.
I have my gas guzzler vehicle. I don't know anything about charging. And I'm like, where does one find this sounds like a lot of work to be eco-friendly. I'll do my other eco-friendly things.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know if it's also in Palm Beach, but in Broward, there's Cybertrucks everywhere. And I've seen them wrapped in camo. I've seen them wrapped in graffiti. I've seen them wrapped in different colors. I've seen them with people. And when I went to Charlotte last year, no Cybertruck.
Yeah.
And so my friends that had moved away to North Carolina, when they came back to visit, they're like, why do you guys have so many Cybertrucks?
I could see it being like a South Florida thing.
Every day I see a Cybertruck
I think
on
you
the
should
road.
tell Margaret Mary that Boca Mag should get a wrapped up Cybertruck.
All right, so Tesla dealerships everywhere. We have a call out that we need a Boca magazine.
Right after we just
Cybertruck.
Can you imagine
but you would elevate it with all of your covers on it.
Oh,
I can see that. I can see from an advertising.
That's how we're going to deliver our magazines from now on, from the Boca Mag Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I like these ideas.
What does the horn even sound like? Pick up your magazine. The Boca Mag
nice little
Cybertruck.
tune.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, so anyway, so the DeLoreans will be
So back to the festival of the
Back
arts.
to the DeLoreans.
No, but I always love ballet. Like, I remember I was telling you guys I went to go see the Nutcracker in December. So that's something I'm going to be looking forward to, seeing contemporary ballet. I think that's going to be really cool.
Me too. And I still can't get over your beautiful cover.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Doris Kearns Goodwin is coming back.
Yes, she is like a heavy hitter with Festival of the Arts. So she is a presidential historian, and we did an interview with her. John Thomason did a sit down with her for our Take 5 for part of the arts section. And we were able to get some really cool photos because, we had her headshot, but we needed something else. And they were able to give us photos of her when she was like covering the Johnson White House administration.
Yeah.
Young Doris there with her notepad and everything. And she's in the, press room and talking to the president. So she just has really great insight over the different presidencies. And she made a good point too, is, we just had a change in administration where she was like, you really don't know how people are going to remember a president until like 10 years later. When you're in the moment, you think about things, but you don't know too, like what impact somebody is going to have. So that interview was in the February issue. So if you're really interested in history and American history, that's a really great interview. And also obviously all of her books to read all that.
Yeah, so lots to do.
Yeah. So something else we had in there that was fun was we had Jaffa Jewels in there in Palm Beach. And I love old estate jewelry, and I feel like that's something that's coming back, is people not always just wanting the new jewelry. And so they're known for having like Van Cleef and Arpels and Chanel and, the Cartier, Jaguar bracelets. And so it's cool to talk to them. Do you guys have any, like, it doesn't have to be necessarily the biggest pieces, but just pieces that have been handed down to you that are really important, that may be more special than any new thing that you could have gotten?
I don't have any that has been handed down just yet, but I have some that my mom puts aside and she tells me.
You have your eye.
No, but she tells her, Portia, this will be yours someday.
She does, yes. Not
yet.
right now. Not right now, but someday. We did have our grandma, because we're Jamaican, and when she first came down to the States, she had these amazing gold bangles, and they were so thick, just like heavy. And anyways, and she had one designated for every granddaughter.
Okay.
And then we had a situation where they got stolen, but that was the only heirloom that I would say. I know where that was. Other than that, I just have pieces that my mom says, not yet.
The bling bling. No, it's just pieces from my mom, and she has been kind enough to give me some now.
Oh man, I gotta talk to your mom.
Well, I love your story about your little pinky ring.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Because you were on
today.
Which Instagram account had you
Class
on?
of Palm Beach.
You ended up on there. I was
ended up
flipping
on
through,
there.
and I was like, Olivia. Where they stop people and ask what are you wearing? So anyway.
Yeah, no, that was a cool moment on Worth Avenue. But I was wearing a pinky ring that I got when I was really young. But I was also wearing, I remember, a necklace that my mom gave me, and it has a really cool vintage, it reminds me of the Titanic. I don't know why, but that era, early 1900s,
Art Deco.
Yeah, Art Deco, exactly. So yeah, my mom has, so many beautiful pieces.
And you actually just recently at the art.
I know.
Boca Museum of Art Gala.
So it's not jewelry, but my mom did give me some of her dresses that she used to wear.
Yeah.
And I went to the Museum of Art Gala, and the theme was Spanish Baroque Renaissance, you know,
to go
that
with
whole
the exhibit,
era,
which is closing in March. So if you haven't seen Splendor and Passion, you need to go see it now. It's going to be gone soon.
And it's amazing. It's a big exhibit. And so then all of a sudden, I've got this red dress that's just hanging in my closet from my mom from 1987.
Amazing.
Was the last time she wore it. The first time and last time, because my mom would wear something once, get
It's an
photographed
archival
in
piece.
It is seriously an
She's like,
archival
"That's
piece.
it."
And I was like, oh my God, it's perfect. I tried it on. And it fit like a glove. I just took off the shoulder pads and voila, that was
Love
it.
it.
So there is something really nice about that, you know, those meaningful pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that article.
Yeah, so that was really fun. And well, speaking of fashion, we have a special guest coming on today as a local fashion designer. So stay tuned. We have all the information with her.
And we are joined here today by a very special guest, Amanda Perna. She is a Project Runway alum. She's a designer extraordinaire, creative director of House of Perna, also a boutique owner of A Little Wild in Delray Beach. Very, very involved in the community and so much more. She doesn't stop. I don't know when you sleep, Amanda, but welcome to Palm Paradise.
Yay, Amanda! Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And I know, Olivia, you wore one of her pieces today.
Yes. You know, I am such an Amanda Perna fan. We became friends because I was a Instagram follower and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. And I reached out and, hey, do you want to do a collab with me and protect my shoes? And then there was the start of our friendship. But just, yeah.
And
I have one of those in that line.
The collab?
Yeah, that was a fun collection. But yeah, anything Amanda does, I love.
Yeah, and so we were just talking about this before we started filming, but I was earlier this month at the Delray Public Beach fundraiser, Laugh with the Library, which was hilarious, and you're the chair of that event, so congratulations for bringing more money to our public library here.
Yeah, well, it's such an important cause, and I think when you live in a small town, it's even more important to help and do what you can, and I had an amazing co-chair, and we had an amazing comedian.
TJ
Miller. He was quite the get for us. And that was our mission, is we got to get a great comedian. And we did. We had a lot of people come that don't even know about our library because of him. So now we have supporters that are going to be longtime supporters that came because of our comedian.
Excellent. And it's just, like, I know when we were doing a preview for the event, we were kind of joking about how, you know, normally in the library you're supposed to be quiet, but not tonight. You're supposed to laugh out loud. No librarian shushing you today.
Yes, it gets a little rowdy. It's fun. And every year, Boca Magazine is so wonderful to feature our event. And we try to make it fun. You know, for those of us who go to a lot of different events, they can kind of, I don't want to say get stale, but a little. You know, it's a similar process. So we try to do it a little bit differently. And exactly like you pointed out, instead of being quiet, we get really loud.
Yeah.
That's actually, I never thought about it that way, but that's cute.
That's
clever.
actually like one of my favorite events that happens in the community, just in general. The fact that there's like comedy, and then I just love libraries. I'm like a geek that way.
The decorations were so cute. Like when you walked in, they had all these like book pages, and then when you sat down, it had sort of like that. Remember the old school, like when you would check out and you would stamp the due date. Yeah, they had the card there with like, you know, ours table said like media and everything. So it was just, I was just like, oh my God, my little paper heart.
Exactly. And it's so sad because like our kids will not know half of those things and what they are. So I think it is so important to support the library and really continue to create that love of learning, whether it's at school or outside of school. And for our library in particular, there's so much more that we do outside of the book.
They have
really
a podcast studio,
There's a
don't they?
podcast studio.
Like, hello.
Podcast studio. There are so many different STEAM learning kits that you can take home. There's classes for people who want to learn how to use computers that didn't grow up with them, or language learners that English was not their first language. So, you know, it really is incredible.
It is. And listen, we pulled you here into Boca today.
Yes.
But gosh.
I crossed the border. I swear, I never crossed Linton. Like, it's like really like a joke, but I don't. I very rarely come to Boca.
This is a really big deal.
And I got very lost. I'm like not too proud to admit I don't know where I wound up. It was not here. Well, I made it.
You got here though.
And we feel very special that you took the time to come.
Always for you guys.
But you recently opened your first flagship atelier boutique. Tell us about that.
It was very exciting, and it happened I feel like everything in my career has happened in a path that was not my plan, and I'm a planner, so that's what's always the most ironic part is I plan and plan and plan, and it does its own thing. We weren't intending on opening a flagship yet. I thought maybe, in another 5 years, and an opportunity presented itself. We were looking for a new studio space, and the perfect storefront opened, and we were like, how can we not jump on this? So we did. So the front of it is our little boutique and the back is our studio. So we actually are designing while you're shopping behind the divider. And it's been really special. And for us, we get to communicate and meet you and see what people are gravitating towards, what they do and don't like. And I say it's kind of almost become a test kitchen for me because I get to hear the conversations. Like half the time they don't realize I'm back there. And I'm like, wait, what are they saying?
You have like baby monitors all over the store.
Sometimes it's a little stressful, when you're trying to focus and then you hear something and you're like, wait, I'm trying to get this done, but what are you saying?
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. And what's been so beautiful, and I know we've talked about this, Olivia, is my goal and my hope with my brand is to spread joy and to help women feel something. And it's almost become like a little club of sorts because when girls come in, this one's like, oh, what do you think? And people don't know each other and they walk out as friends. And I think that's been the most exciting and beautiful part of this little shop. And it's been really fun. I mean, it's not easy. Anybody who owns a business can tell you. They can pretend on Instagram, we see you out there pretending it's easy and I do it in my sleep. It's not. It's a constant battle. But it's worth it. If you love it and believe in it, it's worth it all.
And so before all the stores and everything, and a little wild, which is adorable, because I know in Delray magazine, we recently, in the November-December issue, we did a Mommy and Me sort of issue, which was so adorable.
You need more of those. Because it was amazing.
Yeah, it was super cute. And Lori was like, oh my God, because her daughter's in her 20s now. So she's like, no.
I know. Everything. I don't have girls. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had because you have too many cute outfits.
And Lori was so much fun too in picking things because she lights up because she gets so passionate about what she's doing. So to watch her light up as she was grabbing things around the store, it was a ton of fun.
And so we want to talk a little bit about your Project Runway tenure.
Okay.
So what was, that seems like it's crazy. Like everybody always says it's crazier on those shows than it appears. And it already seems crazy.
Insane.
Accurate.
Yeah. How did that maybe push you further as a designer, being in those really high intense situations?
Two things I'll say to start on that. One, I watched the show when I was in college. So I would watch it while working on my projects for school. And I was like, man, can you imagine being on that show? How cool would that be? And I never really thought in a zillion years that would happen because there's hundreds of thousands of people apply for this. And who am I? And you get that imposter syndrome of, I'm not any more special than anybody else. So being picked is super surreal. And the process, I can't go into detail about it, but it's extremely long. There are a billion steps. It's really daunting and scary even as you get closer. So then you're there and you're out of your element. And I'm super empathetic and pick up on everybody's energy, which for me is draining in itself. But then you're not able to go home and be
refresh
in those creature comforts. Yeah. Instead, you're staying in a room with somebody who wants you to do bad. And I want to win because I did well, not because you guys did bad. I want all of us to do great, right? Because think how amazing it is if you have a ton of incredibly talented people. But, on reality TV, there's all the personalities and all the agendas and navigating through that and navigating through what the judges want, which was my biggest issue, frankly, being an overachieving perfectionist, which I'm not even going to say I'm recovering from because I'm not. I don't feel it's cool to say I'm recovering. No, I'm not. I'm never going to change. Let's just be real about this. I try to not put so much pressure, but I do. I genuinely care about my work. I care about the integrity of my work. I care about not that I care about what people think of me, I don't, but I care about being kind.
Yeah.
And TV is manipulated in different ways to make people appear different than they are. And so that was hard to deal with, is not being able to control anything. You're completely out of control of everything. So you just have to learn to go with it, which was a challenge for me. But to your point, it was a learning lesson, right? Because in everything, we have two options. We can either break down and be like, I'm a failure and quit, or you find that little glimmer of hope and you keep moving forward. And I did. I believe that you should always allow yourself that second to feel whatever it is you need to feel it. Don't just shut it away, because that's when it eventually implodes. So I did. I was like, whoa, I lost to someone who I didn't think deserved to win. And the storyline was portrayed that we were all mean to this person, and no one was actually mean to her. But it makes for more interesting TV. You understand being in media. Yeah. Nobody wants to see happy little people sewing, right? Would you watch that show? I mean, I would actually. Maybe watching that show. Maybe just happy people sewing and complimenting each other would be a really great show.
Change the narrative.
Yeah, exactly. Try that, guys.
And call it Happy Little Sewers.
Yeah. Right, guys. You heard it here first. This is the beginning of the show. But yeah, and it, so that was like a little tricky, and just like navigating, so. We were the first group also of the Instagram era.
Oh, wow.
And so we were severely attacked on social media. And it was new for us, for them. And I mean, I had death threats coming in because people didn't like me. And I was like, man, if I had time to go email people I don't like and tell them things, like what I could be doing instead. Yeah. But it does. It really makes you realize like what the world can be like. And a lot of people crumbled. They did. A lot of really talented, incredible designers who, frankly, were a lot better than I am, crumbled because it was either your idols telling you didn't do good enough, or the public saying horrible things to or about you, and they don't know you. And I did. I allowed myself to feel what I felt. And then I said, okay, now we move forward. How do we move forward? And I did. And, I think it did make me a lot tougher. And it did make me realize that you cannot please everybody. Trying to please everyone is just going to make you fail. Yep. There is no success in pleasing everybody. Right. So who do I care to please? And that has been kind of our mission with my business is, okay, how does our client feel about this? Now, if everybody who shops us is like, what is this? I'm going to listen. But now if somebody who only wears gray and black and white is
it's like, not for you anyway.
Colorful. No, you're not coming and buying anything from me. Yeah. But, so that's kind of, I think that gave me that North Star of like, okay, no, not everyone's going to like me. And I know what that feels like. I experienced the worst case scenario of people literally giving you death threats. It can't get worse than this. So really, what's the worst thing that could happen to me?
Yeah.
As an overachieving perfectionist, failing on that kind of a platform at first was horrifying. I was the one who needed the A+. Wasn't an A+. I was like, I failed. My mom was like, you got an A. What are you talking about? I was like, nope, there was no plus. It's a failure, which isn't my own personal issue. I'm aware. I am aware. I send messages to them about
Still
I need
working
therapy.
on it.
Still working on it. But it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, well, that was like literally my biggest fear in the world, and it happened. I'm okay.
Yeah. And the world didn't implode. Still spinning.
So no regrets. No regrets doing Project Runway?
No. I mean, looking, hindsight is always everything. And like looking back at how I should have played the game, because I didn't. I just went in, took things at face value. It's a game. It's a strategy. I went in with no strategy. I was like, I'm just going to make really fun things and they're going to love it. That is not a strategy, friends. That's not a strategy. So a lot of them went in with the game they were playing, and they were prepared, and they had some of them were ruthless and wanted to do, I wouldn't ever do that. But no, I think I probably would have went in with like more of a direction of what I was trying to do. But at the time, my publicist was like, I just want to see you on camera. We need all the airtime you can get. Yeah. If you have a crazy thought, say it in your testimonials because they will put it on there. And they did. They did quite a few times. My mother was like, "Whoa!" My mom is very proper.
It's like, what do you expect when you put somebody into a pressure cooker that doesn't exist in the real world?
Correct, with no escape. Like I didn't get to call home for 2 weeks, and my first
it's
call
like
home
boot camp.
Is like I refer to it as jail. You don't get to call home for I didn't get to call home for 2 weeks. My first call was on camera while in the middle of trying to sew things. While this girl was like, it was like a whole thing. And so, it's you're put in a tough position, and like you don't know what to do until you get there.
Well, something I didn't realize was, Portia, you have a family member who models on Project Runway.
Dee Dee Smith. I don't know.
No. I don't know if you guys overlap.
Probably not, because I think they've been on the last like 5 seasons.
Okay.
Now.
I didn't like watch
either. That's so fun. So you hear stories then.
I do.
It is. It's a thing. But I think, it is one of those moments that like have connected me with other people.
Right.
I'm most proud of my resume working for Calvin and Oscar, but the masses don't care. They don't. Like, that's not what makes me a good designer, which if you talk to anyone in the industry, like, that's what validates you. It's Project Runway.
Yeah, look at us. We asked you about Project Runway.
No, truly, but that's what people are excited about. And, it's a way to connect with people that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
And now you're in a position where you're mentoring people and, critiquing in a much kinder way, I imagine.
Yes,
So Lynn Fashion Show every year that just happened, you're working with them now. How is it then, working with this like next generation of designers, and I imagine you're lifting them up.
Yes. I'm realistic with them, but also because I don't believe in lying. I don't believe in sugarcoating things. It is not an easy business. It is not an easy industry. And I don't want to give people this idea, like you can see on line or wherever you're looking. You see the fashion shows, you see the glamour, you see the models, but what you don't see are the 18-hour work days and the issues that happen and the craziness that you can't imagine that goes on within this industry. Because as we say, there's so many people from the time I design something until the time it hits a runway or hits a store, so many people are involved. So every step of the way has to work or it's a domino effect of mess. So I am really realistic with them, but also positive. And because I think when you come from a nurturing place with anybody, right, we all are better. And when you come at people and you're yelling and screaming and telling them that they're terrible and, cursing at them and things I experienced in my career, of course you're going to shut down. So now I've mentored, over 100 kids at this point in my career. I've been in this business a long time. But and I do believe in giving back. And, there's two schools of thoughts. There are the designers who are like, I can't deal with interns. They cause problems. They're a headache. And they can be, frankly. They're learning. They're growing. They're kids. They don't know. They're going to make mistakes.
Same with editorial interns,
right.
Where you're like, part of you is like, why did you do that? Are you, then you're like, they're 19 years old. They're 19 years old.
You were there once.
I was doing that where my mentor was like, are you joking right now?
Yes. And I think, it is so important to give back to that next generation because especially being based here in Florida, there aren't that many of us here in fashion. So giving these kids an opportunity, because some of them don't want to go to New York, and that's okay. The world has changed. You don't have to anymore. Back when I started, it was like you went to New York, LA, or Europe, or like, you're not doing this. Like, you're just out of luck. But now social media has changed that. The internet has changed that. But it's still about having that real world experience because you can learn as much as you want out of a book, but you're not really going to understand it until it's in front of you, like anything, right? Like, we can read and read and read, but until you're faced with that experience, it's hard to understand.
And that's what I love about what they're doing at Lynn University is they're providing their students with so much hands-on learning. And I always say that's like the best way to learn. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, the students are learning so much from you.
Well, not just me, but the community partners working with Neiman Marcus and Saks and all of these big companies. So when they leave that school, the things on their resume. And actually giving them action items. Like, I don't believe in interns just signing their paper and they sit there and watch me. No, they need to learn. And my rule is you have to be able to walk away from this internship being able to stand and defend what you've done. Because if you didn't, then you didn't do enough and I didn't help you enough. And if I'm going to take the time to have you in here with me, you're going to take the time to actually learn.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, otherwise we're wasting each other's time. And that's like my number one rule in life is do not waste people's time because we have such little of it when you really look at your life. But it's beautiful.
Speaking of time, you are the mom of a beautiful daughter, Stella. Do you think she's going to follow in your footsteps?
I don't know. As of now, yes. She loves to sew. She is super creative. I mean, frankly, she's going to be a much better artist than I am. I mean, even I look at what she draws now and I'm like, there's some things she does. And I was like, you didn't do that. Who did that? And she's like, no, I did. And I'm like,
she loves it.
She loves it. She loves, now.
So at the very least, she's going to be a creative.
She's going to be creative. I mean, my husband's creative. I'm creative. I think she's definitely going to go somewhere creative. Whether it's fashion or not, I'm not sure. She's she's there a lot. So she does see, and certain things I try to shield her from because she's a kid. Other things I don't. And I want her to see that it takes a lot to run a business. And I want her to see that not every day is great. Because, as kids,
moms have bad days too.
Yeah. And I don't know, they feel alone in that they're having bad days or their emotions or this and that. And I believe in showing her, no, I'm having a really terrible day today, but tomorrow's going to be better. Yeah. Because that's the only way that she's going to learn. And she's not going to shut down when something hard gets in front of her. Because there's moments we all want to. I was there last week and I was like, where can I run and hide and leave my phone here so nobody can find me? And my husband's like, well, that's not a healthy thought. And I'm like, no, it's not. But that's where we are today. But, I do. I think it's really exciting. And she's been there. I mean, when she was a baby, I refused to quit my career. I also refused to have her stay home with someone else. True psycho. And I brought her to work. So since she was born, she was around the machine. She was part of the equation. We taught her when she was really little to pick up pins off the floor instead of doing anything with them. So I did ouchie on my finger and she was like, oh, ouchie. So she would say ouchie, ouchie, and pick up the pins when she was really little. And people were like, you're letting your kid be. And I was like, no, she's got it. And she did. And I think the more
and if she pricks herself, she'll learn.
She's going to learn real quick not to touch that thing. But I think the more that we expose them to and we show them and allow them to be part of, like, the stronger they're going to be and the more realistic they're going to be with life. Because it's not always beautiful, it's not always perfect, but it's always going to be okay. Yeah. Somehow it's going to be okay. So she might run, Olivia. Yeah. She might run as far and fast as she can from fashion, but as of now, I think maybe I'll have someone to take over when I retire.
Well, just on, to end on a positive note, listen, if we're all having a bad day, wear one of your creations. Yes. Because they will make you super happy, whether it's sequins or bright, happy floral prints. You definitely spread a lot of joy.
And that's my mission. Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate it. Like we say all the time, you don't even need to buy anything. Come into our store. You're having a bad day? Come into our store. You want to celebrate? Come into our store. Whatever it is that you need to feel today, we just want you to walk out feeling a little bit happier. And our rule is if every single one of us spreads joy to one person in a day, think of that ripple effect. Yeah. So I love that. One person. Love it. All it takes one.
That is a great way to end. I'm like taking so many notes here as my life coach Amanda Perna says. So thank you so much, Amanda, for coming on Palm Paradise, and we can't wait to see what else you have up in store.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Isn't Amanda awesome?
Amazing.
Yeah. Like I said, life coach.
Yeah, I know.
No, I was like, we clip things for our social media after. If you're not following us on Instagram and TikTok, guys, please do. Yeah. Anyway, that was a shameless plug. I was like, we're going to clip that. We're going to clip that. We're going to clip
We love a good shameless plug. No, but she's super inspiring. No. She's very real. Life is not always a straight road. And she just always comes out with so much positivity and she just radiates sunshine.
And we need more of that in the world, honestly. The fact that she's like an empath and just really, trying to make sure that she does little great acts of service every day. You know what I mean? Even if, like she mentioned, even with her staff, if we could just give one person a good day and kind of have that pass on. I thought that was awesome. That was
agreed.
Yeah, and speaking of, paying it forward and giving back, everybody knows how charitable we are in this community, and it doesn't necessarily have to be dollars. Too. So I know I've gotten some emails lately and we're always happy to share the Coastal Stewards. So if you are an animal lover, I know that they are looking for volunteers to help with the sea turtle rescues. Oh. So I know people are always love it when we write about the sea turtles or a new bunch came in that are, undergoing hospitalization. So if you love sea turtles, that's a great way to help out.
That's cute.
And then all the people at Boca West and a bunch of other communities are also doing a big diaper drive right now. They are looking to collect 1 million diapers. Nice. And I know with you guys who have little ones in the past, no longer in diapers, but how many diapers kids go through.
And how expensive they are. Yes.
And it's not crazy covered by WIC either. And there's just so many reasons why you should help. And so that's an easy way to help out at Boca West. If you go onto their website and their social media, you can make a monetary donation so that they can buy diapers of the sizes that they need. Or if you want to drop that off, that's a great way. So those are just 2 quick, easy ways that you can help in the community.
Love it.
And if you guys have any other ideas, leave it in our social media, email us, and we'll happy to share it. Absolutely. So I think that's a good happy note to leave things on. I think
so.
All right. Well, this is Palm Paradise, powered by Boca Magazine. Follow us on social media. Follow us on all of our podcasting platforms and on YouTube. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.